Hello everyone, Jeff and Jay here with another edition of Jay's Big Adventure. Jay's the fuzzy one. And today we are going to talk about a peer-to-peer motorcycle renting program called Riders-Share. It's riders-share.cmo. If you want to pull the site up and take a look while we're talking, that will help you figure out what's going on. But what this does is it allows people to put motorcycles that they own online for other people to rent. So let's talk a little bit about how this process actually works. If you go to riders-share.cmo, you can look for a bike to rent. You plug in the location of where you want to rent it, the dates that you want to rent it, and it will pull up a list of bikes that are available in that area at that time. It'll show you what the bikes are, what their rate is on the listing page. And then if you click on that link, then it opens up that particular bike and gives all the details. In my case, not only are you renting the motorcycle, but I have a complete electronics suite to go with it, including GPS and Bluetooth and Valentine 1 radar detector, Bluetooth headphones, all that stuff if you need it. I also have several sets of motorcycle riding apparel. I've got stuff for me. I'm 6'2" and 220 or so. I've also got stuff for my daughter and my girlfriend who are different sizes. So if someone is flying in and they want to rent a bike, the fact that I have everything available and that's part of the rental is a big advantage. This is marketing and sales, just like putting an ad in the paper or online. The quality of the pictures, the quality of your text, the professionalism of your rental makes a big difference, right? So if you've got grainy ass pictures, there's only 2 of them, and you don't tell anything about the motorcycle, and your bike is priced the same as one of the other 5 or 10 bikes that are out there, chances are you're not going to rent your bike very much. The reverse is also true. Start with a great thumbnail picture so that it draws people's attention. I actually have my bike in front of some amazing wall art that covers the entire side of a building here in Salt Lake City. It's just a visually stunning picture. I've got a great description of the bike, the modifications that I've made to it. Set up for me so it's pretty tall. If you're a guy that's 5'8" or 5'9", this might not be the best bike for you just because of the way I've got it set up. But I go through all the modifications, all the electronics that come with it. I list the equipment that's available as part of the rental in terms of rain gear, jackets, helmet, boots, gloves. You could fly into Salt Lake City in shorts and flip-flops and leave my driveway completely geared up and ready to go for a week-long vacation. And Utah is the only state in the country with 5 national parks in it. So those things make a difference. You can list what the bike has, how many miles, they ask for the condition of the tires, add any additional information that you want, and really help sell why someone wants to rent your bike versus one of the other 20 or 30 or 40 that are also available for that same time frame. So once you decide to rent a bike, as a renter, you have to have a motorcycle license. You've got to have you've got to have some experience. Ask you a whole bunch of questions about your history, get a copy of your insurance, copy of your motorcycle, of your license to show that you are endorsed for motorcycles, and then they take your credit card information, and then you can make a reservation just like you would renting a car anywhere else. Once that reservation has been set up, I get an email saying there's a pending reservation. Do you want to accept this? So now on my side, I get to go through and say, yes, that bike is rentable for that day, or I can refuse the rental based on who is renting it. Okay, if there's something fishy going on, if he's a brand new rider, in my case, if he's 5'6" or 5'7", I can just flat say, no, the chances of you dropping my bike are pretty good. No, you can't ride it. If the kid's 21, nope, not going to happen. So I get the opportunity to refuse any rental that I want. On the website, I can also block out dates that I want the bike personally, or if I know I'm going to be out of town and there's going to be no one here to hand the bike off, I can block off dates, months, and say the bike is not available during these particular times. So once the reservation has been made and the renter arrives, there's a check-in process. And during that process, pictures are taken both from his perspective and from mine. So when I go to rent the motorcycle, it'll say, take a picture of the guy's license with his face, right? So just verify that the license that you're showing is actually the guy renting the bike. What is the odometer reading? And take pictures of front, both sides, rear of the motorcycle, and any other photos that you want to have. My bike has a bunch of mounts, a bunch of other things that can be removed. So they want to make sure that they're not going to get hit with, hey, this renter stole my stuff. So there's places for me to add specific equipment. If he's renting jackets, helmets, gloves, etc., I can list all that stuff. And then once all that has been completed, then it says, okay, the renter is checked in. He can now take the motorcycle. And the minute he takes the bike, the insurance transfers to riders-share. So if anything happens, it is now on their insurance. This is one of the best parts about the riders-share program, is that from the moment he takes your motorcycle to the moment he brings it back, you are off the hook financially. If he wrecks the bike, if he hurts someone, if something goes wrong, it's not your problem. It's their problem. They work to get it resolved. Once the bike comes back, there's a checkout program, which is the same thing. Take a picture of the odometer, take a picture of the bike to verify the condition, and then at that point, then once you hit the send button, then it reverts back to my insurance. So it really is a pretty slick program. The way it's set up is they have done everything that they can and put procedures in place to protect everyone. The renter, is taking pictures of the motorcycle so that if there's already damage on it, if I'm a crook, I can't say, hey, he damaged the bike while he had it. The rider goes, no, it wasn't, because in the check-in pictures, that damage is visible. As the person renting the bike, I can also take those pictures and verify that there's no damage on the bike. When it comes back, if there are pieces missing, if it's been dropped, if there's a problem, now I have a way of filing a claim with riders-share showing that damage was actually done by this rider. You can also set mileage limits. On my bike, 1,000 miles, for the rental period is what I have set as a default, because the miles no longer matter. If you would be silly enough to rent, a brand new 2020, Panagnale or a BMW S1000 RR, right, and just let somebody put 1,000 miles on it, that might not help the value of your bike much. So you can say you can only ride it X number of miles a day, and they then know that before they ever make the reservation, because it's going to be in the notes that state there are mileage limits. Look at them, see whether they make sense, and go from there. So that's kind of how the program works. The website is very good about getting the rental set up, and then the check-in and check-out is actually done on a mobile app on your phone. You can take the pictures with your phone and upload it directly to the website, and that fulfills all of those functions right off your phone. Now, I know for a lot of people, letting someone else ride your motorcycle would be like letting someone else date your wife or your girlfriend, and I get that. But for those of us who are detached enough or have had the bike long enough that the extra income outweighs letting someone else ride the motorcycle, it can make a lot of sense. I have a 2012 BMW K1600 GT. It's got 61,000 miles on it. And at this point, additional miles don't really hurt the value much. It's pretty much at the bottom of the depreciation curve anyway. The next 100,000 miles, other than routine maintenance, really isn't going to cost me much in depreciation. So it makes sense to use the bike to generate income to help pay for itself. In my case, I rent it for $159 a day, and it has worked out over the last year to be just about $1 a mile for every mile that the bike is being rented to someone else. I've rented the bike For 2,000 miles, I've earned $2,000, and that's pretty strong. Even if it was half that, even if it was 50 cents a mile for a 2012 motorcycle, that helps me pay for maintenance, tires, oil changes, insurance, that sort of thing. And now I have a free bike. This is not a bad program. But there are always catches. And in my case, I rented the bike out 2 weeks ago to a gentleman who wanted to go up to Spokane to visit his daughter, along with a couple other bikes who were going to be ridden by his sons. So he rented my bike, they have their own bikes, and the three of them were going to ride up to see the rest of the family. Very good program. The problem is, my motorcycle experienced a front wheel bearing failure in Spokane. So now, not only does he not have a ride home, but my bike is broken down 850 miles from my home. So at that point, I have a couple of choices. One, I can go get it. I have a BMW M3 with a trailer hitch. A motorcycle trailer doesn't weigh much. I'm way below the towing limits of the M3. I can go get the bike, bring it back here and fix it. I'm a mechanic. I have decent tools. The front wheel bearing is not that hard. I'm actually going to do that video once I get the bike back, which will probably be in the next couple of days. Or I could have Riders-Share use their roadside assistance program to take it to the dealer of my choice and have the bearings replaced there. The problem is, the BMW store in Spokane is the same as BMW stores anywhere. They're outrageously expensive. It's $129 an hour for labor. The bearings are $100 a piece. There's two of them, plus the hours to remove and replace, etc. And they wanted $129 just to look at the motorcycle. On this particular bike, it does not have front forks in the traditional sense. It has a double A-arm front suspension with ball joints, more like a car. If those ball joints die, they're expensive, and it is 10 hours of labor, 8 to 10 hours of labor to replace them, because you have to tear the entire front of the motorcycle apart to get to those ball joints. Neither of those options were really what I wanted to do. First of all, I really don't want to tow that far with the M3. I have a 2004 Highlander with 130,000 miles on it. I could put a hitch on that, but that's spending money to put the hitch on it, and then driving a Highlander 1,500 miles or 1,600 miles to go get the bike, 1,700 miles. And I don't know if that vehicle is up to towing through the mountains with a trailer and a motorcycle on it. Plus I have to install the hitch. All of this takes time. In addition to all of this, I have the bike rented out in 2 weeks for another week. And so that's going to bring me another $400 or $500 in profit. I don't want the bike to miss that rental by being down with the wheel bearing or the ball joint. So had a bit of a conundrum. I could spend a ton of money, throw all of the money that I'd made on the bike away by getting it repaired in Spokane, or I could go get it. And then I decided, you know what, just for grins, I'm going to contact Riders-Share to see if they can help. So the phone numbers, of course, everybody is in COVID-19 phase, so no one answers the phone, but there was an email. I emailed a guy, and in less than an hour, I got a phone call from a guy named Sasha who works for Riders-Share. Explained to him what the program was, where the bike was, what had happened, and he said, look, if you can get the bike home, we'll compensate you for that. One, we will fly you to Spokane once the bike is done, if you want to pay to have it fixed in Spokane, and then you can ride it home yourself. It's your bike. Okay, that's a fair option. Or he said, I will personally, and I don't know where he's located, he said, I will personally fly to Spokane, ride the bike to you, and then I got an airplane home to wherever it is that he lives. I was not expecting this. Anytime you're dealing with, car rentals or rentals, boat rentals, anything, if something goes wrong, it's a hassle. It's someone else's insurance. Who knows what they're going to pay? For them to step up and say, hey, we will get your bike back to you if that's what you want, I thought was outstanding. So just for grins, I did a little bit of checking. First of all, no one in Spokane could see the bike for several days. Then I have to find the bearings. I found them on Amazon for $8 and $13 instead of $100 each, but they're not going to be here for a week to 10 days. I would then have to have either drop ship them there, or ship them once I get them here and get them the bearings to put on, and then they've got to fix it, and then I have to get it home, and I'm running out of time. So just for grins, I jumped online and put the bike up on a site called UShip, which is the same sort of thing. It's more like Uber for freight. Okay, you put a listing online, tell them what it is, where it is, how much it weighs, what the size is, and what when you need it. And UShip has a built-in calculator that will say, okay, for freight of that size, here's what the average customer has paid between that location and this location. In my case, it was $350. So I said, okay, that's pretty fair, but let me do some checking. Did a little bit of looking around, and the cheapest offer that I got from any other shipping company was $500. The next one was $650, and then they went up to over $900. These guys wanted 75 cents to $1 a mile to ship a motorcycle. That's insanity. So these guys said, hey, $350, that's manageable, and I am getting the bike back tomorrow. So once I have the bike back in my possession, I've got the bearings, I've got the ball joints, I've got the other things that I'm going to need. I'm going to do the work myself, get the bike back on the road. But this is why I'm doing this video. I know a lot of people are concerned about renting their bike because what happens, right? There's another gentleman that had a guy crash his bike, and it was more of a hassle due to the insurance company that Riders-Share uses. But they did indeed pay to fix his bike properly by the shop that he wanted to do the work. So there's an example of a guy who had a bad experience, and Riders-Share stood up, took responsibility, and got his bike fixed. Here in my situation, my bike was a mechanical breakdown, and they also stepped up to the plate and have been outstanding in helping me get the bike back. Anytime I email Sasha, if I've got a question and I say, hey, call me, I got a call back within an hour or two. Been great to work with, and it makes me feel a lot better about continuing to rent my bike on Riders-Share. But as of now, as long as I don't get the bike back with a bunch of damage that I didn't have on it when it left, I'm very happy with Riders-Share. And I would recommend that if you have a bike that is sitting around and you would like to have it earn you some money instead of cost you money, give Riders-Share a chance.